What is up with the squad? It says favorite on team with Uncle Tendencies back in the building like I never left. But I'm back to Political Hill this time. Y'all know what it is. It's probably sports tea time. Get your cups out, get your cups out, get your cups out. Good afternoon. Leo, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on? Well, it's a lot going on. That's for sure.
A lot going on. We was gonna talk about something totally different today, and then all these headlines went off, and I hit Leo up. I said, "Oh, it's hot out here. It's hot out here. We gotta talk. Coming in the door, y'all hit the like and the share. They both right there, and we gonna just jump into some headlines. We're gonna talk some headlines. We're gonna talk some situations. First headline that I want to get into is the Women's Congressional Caucus letter to the WNBA. We've been telling y'all for a while now that this is one of the most important labor fights that we've seen in the last few years. Probably, I can't even say the last few years. Probably in the last 10 to 20 years. I would say probably easy. This is important, and it affects everyone. So this is why we're taking the time to talk about it. It ain't like we just want to be up here whining about people not getting paid. This is serious, and this will define how a lot of other industries go. So let me get this thing up here because I don't want to mess it up. Okay, so let's get into the first headline. Women's Congressional Caucus, they put the WNBA on notice, y'all. They said a formal letter to league leadership demanded one thing: bargain in good faith with the players' union. That ain't a suggestion. That's pressure from Capitol Hill. I need y'all to understand. They wasn't like we're thinking it'd be a good idea. No, they said this what you need. This what you got to do. We watching you. We're watching you. So that's pressure from Capitol Hill. But why now? Because the WNBA just locked a $2.2 billion media rights deal. And the lawmakers are saying, hey, y'all ain't opened up their books, but the players deserve their share. So the letter called out three things, Lil: fair pay, equitable revenue distribution, and better working conditions. It sounds like pay them what you owe them, all 10 streams of the BRI, and build a facility and give them something to eat before the game. That's what it sounds like to me. That's the key. This the key. The caucus frames this not as a basketball issue. What we've been saying. Y'all go back and check these lives and this stuff. Me and Leo ain't up here just talking to be talking. We've been telling y'all this is a labor rights fight that can end up in court. We've been telling y'all that they have rights outside of the WNBA because they're what? They're still this is still a labor type of situation. Even though they say that they're contractors. Yeah, okay, contracted to work, but there's still some labor laws that apply in this situation. So the feds are watching. If the league try to drag his feet now, this isn't going to stay behind closed doors. Congress' eyes is on it, and public accountability is in play now. Everybody's looking. What's up, Vito? This moment matters because it validates the players' demands at the national level. So it reinforces what the WNBPA said for months. Good faith or no deal. Halloween. Put your costume on or don't. We don't care. Get some candy or don't. Right? Period. And it sets a precedent. Government stakeholders are stepping directly into pro sports labor disputes, especially where women athletes and marginalized groups are the ones being shortchanged. So it's bigger than basketball. It's the labor rights, civil rights, consumer rights. And so the message to the WNBA is clear. Fairness it's not optional anymore. You got to take care of business. So Leo, let's start this up. How does federal attention from the Women's Congressional Caucus shift the leverage in the WNBA CBA negotiations?
Federal attention from the Women's Congressional Caucus that amplifies the pressure on the WNBA to negotiate in good faith with the players union, and that's something they really haven't even attempted to do. See, when lawmakers publicly highlight labor inequities, it raises the stakes for the league leadership, signaling that negotiations are being watched, not just by the players, not by the fans, but now by elected officials with the power to shape public perception and policy. And so this attention gives the WNBPA additional leverage, and we've been calling on that to happen. And so the league may feel compelled to avoid any negative media coverage or political scrutiny because you're not going to financially outgun the government. You can forget that one. So that could affect your credibility, sponsorship deals, and even your overall brand. So essentially the caucus adds a layer of accountability outside the league itself, making any kind of hesitation could be potentially a costly choice. And so the presence of the federal attention just strengthens the player's position internally. When the union can reference public support from lawmakers, it validates that their demands and frames are not merely self-serving, but align with broader, society principle of fairness and equity. And we've been screaming that all the time. So it creates a bargaining environment where the WNBA risks reputation damage if it refuses reasonable concessions, doesn't kind of shift the leverage towards the player. And not only that, and don't have them turn around to the Justice Department and say, you know what, we need to get a good look at them books over the last 29 years.
Open the books.
And then let me call down the street to the IRS and check out these tax returns, because they already got a campaign out there to check out some of these ridiculous tax returns that these pro league teams are turning in. It's a campaign, but Biden them had put that in. I don't know how much Trump gonna press it, because Trump did try to get it in the big beautiful bill, for them tax exemptions, and the way they're able to amortize their other businesses using the tax system. If you got a pro team, they trying to cut that out, because it's some ridiculous taxes being avoided, through some of these loopholes and stuff. So, and then, do you really want a bunch of women? It's already a gender war going down here, and every one of them ladies is probably a top-notch lawyer, twice as good at what they do. You really don't want them out here capping, because it's a whole lot of women, they may be able to influence to, jump on top of some of these people's heads out here. And they need to, because the work conditions are not even across the board. And Sess and I, well, of course, we did the Broken Sky series. That's all we've been crying about. So this I was presently surprised that, because we were calling for the fans to go to Congress, to get the Congress Women's Caucus involved. But shoot, somebody else done made the call. Evidently, they're on the train.
Absolutely. Rider Man Media in the building. Mr. Shake my hand. Appreciate you sharing it out. Y'all hit the like and the share. They both right there. Vito, what's up? But like you said, we announced that the lawsuit had been filed against Phoenix, right? Then we see this coming. So we've been telling y'all this thing been building. We've been telling y'all this thing was coming this way, and here it is. Now it's got to play out. And for the audience, like in the chat, y'all let me know. And I'll put it back up here. How much influence do you think fans and lawmakers together can have on labor negotiations in professional sports? I really want to know how much power y'all feel like we have. But could this political involvement set a precedent, Will, for other women's sports leagues facing some of these similar labor disputes?
Absolutely. And that's the key thing. You always want a precedent to be set. Political involvement in WNBA, CBA negotiations could serve as a model for all the women's sports league, because the women's sports is not a sidebar no more. You creating a whole lot of industry. There's going to be a whole lot of jobs, and this, that, and the other. So the visibility of lawmakers supporting fair labor practices, that send a signal to all these leagues that's, dealing with women that, historically have received less attention and fewer resources. This is a public and legislative concern. And if you, you don't want a power game, with the ladies. I think it establishes, a precedent for how political actors can act as mediator and pressure agents when internal league negotiations stall, because this shouldn't even had to come to this. You've been smoking these ladies for 29 years. I mean, my God, what more you want to put in your coffers? And then you're looking at how the guys are being set up. Well, not, I don't want to call them guys, but young men in the NBA are being set up. You're the same body, and you can't set the ladies up like that. You know, it can be looking ugly to the point that they can make your law bill go up, and I wouldn't advise, the league to be ridiculous in negotiating, because Congress and the IRS are the two biggest gangsters out here, bar none, and they can put the kind of heat on you that they start looking. Well, maybe it's some fraud being committed. This, that, and the other. Next thing you know, you going to lock up instead of going to the negotiating table. So this was the most exciting thing I had heard. I was just like, when Seth called me with the news, I was like, what? Oh, it's serious business. Something gonna get done now.
But
something gonna get done.
You know what? This is, it's comments like this, and I usually don't even take time for this, but it's comments like this right here that let me know that what we doing is so important, because it's still people that's walking around that think that they don't have no leverage to negotiate because they're a fiscal liability, because they're not profitable. But this is the same league that people that they just turned $400 million down from somebody trying to get into this unprofitable ass league. See, it don't make no sense. But this is why we got to do stuff like that, because there's still people out here who don't get it. People don't invest in losers.
And whoever talking about
people don't line up. People don't line up to invest in in things that are not profitable. Yeah, the other part of this, though, is that what the women get paid from has nothing to do with profitability. They don't get paid whether they profit. Your job don't pay you whether they profit or not. They pay you as a cost of doing business. That is an expense. Yeah. That comes out of the revenue that comes in, not the profit.
Exactly.
This is why we have to have these type of conversations, because people still confused. People still confused. So I'm so glad that you stepped in and shared. I hope that you still here to hear why what you just said didn't make no sense, but it got you some keystrokes in, whatever you needed for today. But yeah, you told us the GTFO. No, you get the fuck out of here, because what you just said didn't make no sense. You could say women's sports are barely or decidedly not profitable. How could you say that?
There's no proof, because they're private entities.
Here's the thing. Unrivaled started off as what? $34 million. Now they evaluated at $340 million. Golden State Valks came in at $50 million, and they now $550. Their valuation is now $550 million.
Exactly.
So don't let them let you keep bumping your head like that, Jack. That ain't the truth. That ain't the truth. If you're gonna be out here typing in the chats and everything, say, be at least be informed. At least be informed. Be informed. That's all I ask.
Well, but maybe he's a paid informant for the league.
Yeah, I ain't sure, but what you said didn't make no sense. But that's what we're here for. That's why we're here. Comments like this are from people who can't even name a team from these women leagues, so they shouldn't even speak. That's a possibility too. Did I hear what Angel McCarthy told Angel? Yeah, and what I said was she should mind her own business. Don't count nobody else's coin. That's all I had to say about that, Keisha. But I want to keep the focus on these headlines right now. And the next headline I want to talk about is Unrivaled, right? I was yesterday, middle of the night, years old, when I found out that Unrivaled, in the beginning, they went to the WNBA and said, hey, we're going to start this thing up. Would y'all like to have your hands in women's basketball year round? And the WNBA looked at them like they was the work, like they was the help.
The help.
Looked at them like they was the help. You hear me? Partner with you. Who you? What you speaking to me for? They were real mean girls. Yeah. You know how they do. What you talking to me for? You ain't got no car. You ain't got no polo shirt. Whatever it was. They didn't want no parts. Unrivaled said, hey, y'all first. We'll keep the majority, but you guys get in this thing at the ground. No, thank you. We don't want it. Now, here's Unrivaled. They wanted a partnership. Scheduling, marketing, player development, expand women's hoops year round. No, not. We'll think about it. Not let us see. No, First of all, who was y'all to say no? Brokies. Remember, we needed money.
Right.
We need to be. These are the things that we need. We need money for facilities. Partnerships is what you need to be trying to build. It could have been a collaboration. In reality, it looks like the league sees Unrivaled as a competitor, more of a competitor than a partner. But it matters because Unrivaled is growing fast, built by players for players. WNBA wants control, but the thing about the WNBA is, every day, Kathy, you walk in there beating your chest like you in charge of something, and don't shit you say matter unless Adam say it does. And so this is what happens when the most important time of your life is when you at work. This is when your voice mean the most, and it don't mean much here, and we know that. So it's like I'm not buying it, Lil. I'm not buying it. The WNBA ain't even control of its own self. To want to control Unrivaled and these other leagues, how dare you? How dare you? Get your own house in order. That's where I'm at with it. Fans and athletes are the ones that's caught in the middle, though. It could be way more opportunities if these leagues work together. Way more opportunity. Like the WNBA is crazy as hell. If I said to you, hey, I want to hire your workers, and I'm gonna pay them more than you pay. And they can still work for you, however, when they supposed to work for you. But I'll tell you what, when they working for me, if they get hurt while they working for me, I'll pay the salary that you pay them when they supposed to work for you. Ain't that a good deal? They was like, nah, we could. What? Nah, we good. We good over here, fam. Y'all ain't paying nobody if they get hurt for the rest of the season. Georgia Amore came in there, hurt at the beginning of the season. She ain't got no money. Y'all suspended her coming in. Politics and power. Hey, listen. Politics and power plays block growth. I don't think that Unrivaled is a signal. It's not just business. They had a willingness to build an ecosystem. Give more visibility, more markets, more momentum, more motion, more money. WNBA's rejection just shows tension. It shows fear of losing a monopoly control over women's pro hoops. But the crazy thing is, the minute somebody chooses Unrivaled over the WNBA, the minute one of these big name players is like, man, I'm cool on the WNBA, I'm just gonna play Unrivaled, it's up. The minute an Unrivaled player makes the Olympic team and hasn't played on a WNBA team, it's up. The minute they sign an international powerhouse that skips the WNBA draft, it says, nah, I'll just play Unrivaled, it's up. And that can happen at any moment. At any moment. The opportunities are there, but the league politics are going to decide whether the doors open or stay shut as far as the WNBA go. And so under this landscape, how these leagues choose to operate or clash, right, will shape the future of women's basketball. So why might the WNBA reject a partnership with a league that seeks to expand women's basketball? Why would they do that? You ain't got enough spots for these people you keep drafting. Every year, y'all fail. Y'all draft. Think about this. You went out and hired 36 people, and you was only able to keep 5 of them at work. What is that? What is that? 7%? What the hell is that? Every year you go out and hire up. You go out and have these people get all dressed up and come in here, 36 of them. And then able to keep 8 of them at work.
You know,
successful? You don't need no help? You couldn't use another set of eyes? A fresh pair of eyes on some of this stuff? That's crazy. So, yeah, why, what is going on with this? Why are they rejecting this partnership, Leo? And could collaboration actually strengthen the overall ecosystem?
Well, actually, you hit it on the head. It's just concerns over competitive control. You know, these it's a gender cultural war, if you will. You know, what is the you have no problem partnering with the guy. I don't say guys with the men in the NBA. What can't you wrap around your head about, you know, partnering with some young ladies? So, you know, you scared that they're gonna compete with you for the top talent, you know, fan attention and sponsorship dollars. It's enough money to go around. So, you too focused on preserving your authority over the league, player contract, marketing strategy, and you don't want to collaborate with anybody. I mean, it's not going to dilute your brand, but that's a concern. And then they can't, they say conflict in schedules, but come on, these people. This is a preseason training scenario, basically. It's not like y'all playing both at the same time, unless you think they're gonna jump up and go 5 and then compete with you over the summer, which I don't think that's even their goal. The main thing with the young ladies is that they're trying to grow a business with you and partner with you. So collaboration is that's a more creative way to integrate year-round basketball experience for the fans. Because I love basketball year-round, and then you expanding more opportunities for more players to play. You could coordinate your marketing, you could share some media coverage, while you off season, you got Unrivaled, kicking it up, and it's about moving women's basketball. So these collaborations could empower players by providing more pathways, to compete and earn, while raising the standard of league operation and the athletic treatment across the board. I mean, these people got to get their head into the 21st century. We've moved on, and so a lot. If you pooled your resources and share your expertise, the leagues could build a much stronger infrastructure. Then, you could probably swing some of the Unrivaled money towards getting these people a facility, and then you won't have this mess like you got going on, in Chicago with one of your major stars. I mean, it's just the collaboration would just benefit everybody.
Think about this. Think about this, Lil. If they were smart, if the WNBA was smart, well, I ain't gonna say that. If I was the WNBA, but they're not smart. We established that. If I was the WNBA, there's no way that I wouldn't partner with both AU and Unrivaled. And I would try to suggest every player that doesn't make the league sign up. Now, you got drafted, you didn't get signed, and now based on where you're at as far as your skill set says where you go. If you go to Unrivaled or if you go to AU, right? If you're going to Unrivaled, to me, those will be the players who, I want you in the league. You got a skill set that says you're in the league right now, but we're not expanded enough, or we don't have enough roster spots for you to get there, right? AU is, hey, you got a skill set. If we had enough roster spots for you to be able to sit and be developed for a year, you would be ready to really go and be a WNBA player in your second year. But because we bring your ass in here 7 days after you finish you ain't even finished your final. You just turned in your last assignment. You still taking finals while we signing contracts and shit for the WNBA, right? So you didn't have 7 days to try to be a pro. Those players, hey, I need for you to go down to AU. I don't really know where you fit, but you fit in here with some development. I got some great vets down there that's going to pour into you. I got some trainers that are developing. I got some coaches that are developing. And all of these leagues that are going to help you develop overall. There's no pressure. You sign a 2-year deal, a 1-year deal, whatever that is, right? And then the one other thing that I would add would be, and I think it was Mondo, so I want to give him credit. 38 of them 36 players got drafted. 8 of them stuck. The next 10, the next 12, y'all are on the WNBA traveling team. And you don't have a home that you play in, but you play on the schedule and you play against all these teams. You just traveling around. But you're getting the development, you're getting the experience, you're getting the on-court time, you're getting to play against real pros, right? And so then there's real development going on that then we can take back and build on in the offseason and in these other leagues. But if y'all don't want to collaborate, y'all gonna get left out. One thing I'm gonna say about old people, and I can say it because I'm old people. Man, some of us old people need to get the hell out the way. Because these young people are ready to collaborate and grow, and all of that old shit that we was taught that mattered, skin color and where you came from and your lifestyle and who your people, none of that shit matters to these young people. They like, hey, let's get to the money. So their willingness to collaborate, their willingness to just virtually do stuff without even seeing people in real life, let you know that color and shit don't even have to come into this when it's about skill set and getting to the money. But we so caught up. Get these old people out the way. There's some old people that need to get out of the way in the WNBA so that you can have a different look at things. You know what I mean? Just I get it. It's been working, but it ain't working. It's been working, but it ain't working. That's what I'm saying. It's been working, but it ain't working, y'all. I just think that there's a lot of new, fresh ideas and ways that they can collaborate, and everybody stays true to their brand and owns their brand. That lets everybody eat. That just lets everybody eat. But that's just, I get off my soapbox with that one. Lil, could collaboration between the WNBA and Unrivaled have strengthened the overall ecosystem of women's sports we're set right now?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, just the amount of opportunities it could open. I mean, you think about it. The WNBA bought in $76 million in licensing this year, and then you combine that with what Unrivaled is bringing in, and then how other players are being able to get in. The streaming rights and uniforms, and I mean and then the chance to go global so much earlier, than waiting till you 75, 80 years into the game. It could just explode. But the main thing is that the combined resources can allow you to even workspaces. And that's the biggest thing. You have got to have quality workspaces across your league. You can have teams practicing in rental gyms and stuff like that, not having 24-hour access to how and when they want to practice on season and off. Because you're giving one team an advantage that you're not giving the other. And what you're doing is creating a caste system within your own league.
Hey, you know what? I'm glad you said that. Alyssa Thomas might have would have won, but she was trying to practice for the playoffs with the birthday party going on. What disadvantage did that put her at? She could have been a champ. But I'm trying to practice around this 2-year-old baby birthday party and stuff here. What are we talking about, y'all?
Yeah,
and they had their own facility. But to be able to stay afloat for sustainability. Now we're renting this facility out to be able to make sure that we can keep the lights on during the season. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. Benzino, I see you in the chat, fam. Thank you so much for the support. Whoa. Sorry about that, y'all. Bam! Gotta keep the conversation rocking. Okay. Now we talked that part. Let me see. I would support both as long as the scheduling allows for such. They can schedule it so that it all works. They can schedule it so that all three works. They don't all got to be at the same time, Like AU was so hard to watch because it was like, is it on at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock? It's like, oh, is it in the app? Is it on TV? Very weird. But if they would just have a women's basketball network, they could schedule a lot of stuff in between that network, that YouTube channel, and that app, right? Like, make it make sense. You got to want it to work. That's the one thing that I see here. But everybody who's wanted it to work, they figured it out. WNBA to work, but it's like Lil said, it's about being able to keep the monopoly. That letter from the Caucus touched on everything y'all have been touching on for some time. The letter from the Caucus was like, bam, 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 bam. I don't know, maybe they was watching too, but shout out.
It might have been because they was on the money.
Shout us out. Let them know we here. But let's talk Unrival's latest move. Because let me tell you something. This Alex guy, I ain't been following Alex a lot. Okay? I ain't been following Alex a lot. Alex is his last name, Bezel, something like that. I'll get his name. Alex don't hold you up. Alex lets you know what's on his mind. He said they didn't need Caitlin Clark. Okay? He said we don't need all that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Their latest move, league leadership made it clear. Their success doesn't hinge on Caitlin Clark, Asia Wilson, or any single superstar, period. They don't want to be tied up in a situation like that. The focus is team development, competitive balance, and creating shine for multiple athletes, which is what you want, right? That's what you want overall for your league to be able to be successful, is multiple athletes being able to shine at once. So you got multiple income streams for multiple fan bases supporting multiple superstars in your league, right? That's a direct challenge to the old playbook in sports that you need a marquee face to build a league. No, you don't. You can have a few of them. The 1996 NBA draft should have taught everybody that. 96 should have taught everybody that. They brought in the superstar for every fan base. Golden age of the NBA. Oh, it was a good time, wasn't it? Absolutely anything to grow the game. I believe Unrivaled only makes the W better when it comes to treatment towards the players and bringing more eyes to both leagues because of stars, present and future. Oh, absolutely. So let's do a strategy check real quick, Leo. Unrivaled is betting on depth of talent and sustainability, not one or two stars. Not a marketing crutch, right? But a structure where every roster spot matters and every game got some juice. You want to see every game. That's bold. In pro sports, the norm is star-driven hype. So headlines orbit one or two names, marketing run through that image. Fans are told the league rise or fall with them. No, and we seen that ain't the truth because they kept telling us about Caitlyn and she been. Everybody close your eyes. Remember? Abracadabra, official ambassador. I told y'all. She ambassador. She out the way. She couldn't do. They banked on her. And if it wasn't for the stud buzz and Asia Wilson this season's a wash for the WNBA. There ain't nothing for them to talk about. If Asia doesn't take the Las Vegas Aces on a 14-15 game to close the season, and the stud buzz don't keep this thing hot going into the WNBA All-Star, and then after that, ain't nobody talking about nothing. The WNBA is up talking about Asia and the stud buzz. The WNBA will tell you that Asia's not marketable, but then they turned around and called Asia to be what? The global ambassador for the junior WNBA. There's no better face. That's why. That's marketable. I'm gonna send you out in the whole world, but then I'm gonna turn around in the meeting and say she's just not marketable. She's just not marketable. You don't believe that shit, man. She's just not marketable. Then why is she the global face of your junior WNBA? See, y'all not gonna be able to keep playing in our faces. But the political climate allows them to play in our face like this. Kathy stood up there and told y'all, I don't talk to Asia. I've never sat down with Asia. The only time I've talked to Asia is when I hand her the award. Number one, as Gamecocks fan pointed out, Kathy, you shouldn't have even been comfortable telling us that you're the head of the league and you've never talked to the best player in the league outside of saying, congratulations, Asia. Think about that.
Stupid.
Think about that. Adam Silver never talks to Steph Curry. Adam Silver never talks to LeBron James. Roger Goodell never talks to Patrick Mahomes. Y'all got to make it make sense for me. Y'all think, I don't even know who the commissioner of MLB is, but you think they ain't talking to Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani people? They talking to him. They want to know what they think. You think the NBA ain't checking in to see what Wembanyama's people think? They is. That show you just how much they don't even care. Here go the award, Asia. She's just not that marketable. She's just not that marketable. Oh, she's good. You done handed her every goddamn award that you give out in your league. How can you tell me that she's not? Every award that you give out in your league, except most improved player, she got one on her show. If not two. Are y'all serious? If not two. No. She's just not that marketable. She's not that marketable. Stop it. We're not. Well, I don't believe it. Rival is flipping that. The product is strong enough to stand on its own, is what they're saying. It's the product that's on the floor that the people are coming to see. Asia putting the best product on the floor right now. In V4. But this Unrivaled League it's the draw, right? The collective talent is the sale, and that's not business talk. I think that's the confidence of their model, the confidence in their players, and the confidence that women's basketball can thrive on structure and not celebrity. So it's a shit for fans. Women's sports don't have to copy men's star chasing blueprint to win. I keep saying that. It doesn't have to be the NBA. It doesn't have to be the NBA. It's not competing in the same time or the same market that the NBA was trying to establish itself as the league. The NBA doesn't have a competitor. There's no one rival. The Big Three came along too late to really rival the NBA. WNBA ain't even 30 yet. Still wet behind the ears. Well, my granny used to say, hey, you still wet behind the ears. Sit down. Let me tell you something. You ain't ready for this. You ain't grown up in business yet. But, Leo, how does Unrivaled focus on collective talent over star players challenge traditional models of sports marketing?
You know what? Just what you said, it shifts the emphasis from the individual superstar to team depth, overall league competitiveness. And so in traditional sports, they just relied heavily on these marquee names to attract the fans and sponsors and to get media attention, which created a dependency on just a few high profile athletes. And LeBron James is one of the perfect examples. You got this man in there into his 40s because you scared to let him go, or he's scared to go, but you're not, putting your eggs in other baskets and bringing these young people along like you should be doing, to attract, because, his son, that age group is coming into the NBA, coming into being paying fans, and you're really not catering to him, still putting his daddy up. So, you promote a system, where it's not tied to just 2 or 3 stars, then you got to think about it. 30 women in Unrivaled got 30 different fan bases. And then you bring those in collectively to, into your union. You got all kind of storylines. And so you can emerge, your talent across, multiple teams. And so to me, that encourages loyalty. It makes the league itself, better than just having an individual player, because you just saw what happened with them putting all their marbles into Caitlin, and then she gets injured, and then you're looking around scratching your head because you didn't have a plan B, which was kind of stupid in itself. So I'm gonna tell you something. Say Unrivaled hadn't started this year, and what happened to Caitlin, the league would have been in trouble, because Unrivaled helped lift the stories of 30 more young women, 36 more young women that we might not have heard about, waiting on the WNBA to get off their marketed duff.
Exactly. Benefit only a few stars is leverage them over the other players in the league. If they empower too many people, they lose their control. Here's the thing. Stop trying to have control over people and partner with people. You're not going to be able to keep controlling people that walk into a league with 5 million, 4 million, 6 million in the bank already. This is a different type of situation. You're dealing with brands that are walking to your league now, not college students that just finished college. You're dealing with people that are walking in with partnerships, with brands behind them.
NIL changed the game, and you got to catch
endorsements already. You got people that are walking into your league that have more fans than you. You have people that are walking into your league that you got to ask them, hey, Flage, can I be the +1 with you? Because I can't get in there. Angel, can you call them for me? Because they won't answer when I call. Cam, can you get me in there? Because they won't let me in. Rakia, can you get me in there? Because they won't let me in. Alyssa Peely, you can go places that we've never been because we've never pushed a star from your cultural background. Camilla, Brazil, can you open up South America for us? See, it's all when you stop trying to control some people, then you can really get to the money. See, the control shit is what's fucking everything up. Stop trying to control people and collaborate. Stop trying to control people and really get to the money. See, people be talking about, I don't care as long as everybody eat, but that ain't what they be meaning. They be wanting to be in control. Because see, when everybody eat, we get to the table, and if everybody does what they're good at, then you have success. But see, when you get ready to when you trying to control, that's when things run them up. Stop trying to control and sit down and collaborate. That's where the problem is at. You can't control Flage. Flage can walk away from the WNBA and go sit out on her 20 acres and never see anybody if she don't want to. You understand what I'm saying? This is how these kids is set up now. This how they set up. They don't control who. I cash out. Listen, I will cash out you your entire salary, coach. I will Zelle it to you. Matter of fact, I might got it in my backpack, depending on which coach you are. I might carry it around just as chump change. Who are you? An NBA player mantra is get the bag. Yeah, that's the thing. The WNBA players' mantra was never get the bag. It was always something different. It was always something different. That was how they marketed themselves. Not that. It wasn't just the bag. It was about the greater good of the game. It was about women's empowerment. It was about ownership. It was about being able to create a lane that was for us, by us, championed by us, captained by us.
Yep. Equity
People
and
be so
agency.
crazy. People be so greedy that they be talking about, people be so greedy, right? And they, can't nobody else eat. But then think about how much food people throw away. Everybody can eat. It's enough likes, clicks, views. It's enough. It's enough out here. Yeah, them days gone. Controlling somebody into something, I don't need your $76,000, ma'am. But I am trying to get to the chip. But what I can bring is, my portfolio of partnerships. If they think Flau'jae is gonna get on their nerves, Juju gonna make their stomach hurt. Juju Watkins is gonna break the bank. Nerd Wallet says so. Nike says so. The way that she's built her brand, y'all gonna have to deal with her different. Y'all, they ain't even seen it. They haven't even seen Juju yet. You know what I'm saying? For real. When Juju Watkins sits to the table, I don't know if that, what is it, the little marketing deal y'all like to get a little $250,000?
Lead marketing.
No, thank you. Okay. Yeah, so if y'all think Flau'jae is so here's the thing. Y'all fumbled Angel. Don't fumble Flau'jae. You don't want to fumble Juju, because see, Juju, here's the thing about Juju. So Flau'jae got an NIL deal where she's gonna do something now, right? She's doing the music and then she got an NIL deal. Remember, Juju has an NIL deal with Unrivaled, but what else does Juju have with Unrivaled? Remember, Juju had the cake. She had the cake that she had that money as a who was Juju Junior as a sophomore to buy into Unrivaled. Remember, they was like, yeah, we got Dawn Staley money and Juju Watkins money. Y'all better stop. Yeah, Reebok should be on the Sky ass. But y'all better stop playing with y'all better stop playing with these youngsters. This is different. You can try to handle them like the NBA if they want to. And the NBA's problem is this: the reason they can't let LeBron go is because they haven't figured out how to partner with any of the young American stars that are coming up. And so since they haven't figured out how to partner with Anthony, they haven't figured out how to partner with Ja, they don't want to have only have a foreign face be the face of this thing. That's why they keep dragging LeBron old ass out there. LeBron loved basketball, but LeBron probably would have sat down years ago. But they need LeBron. And if you don't believe me that they need LeBron and Steph and KD, you go watch the Olympics and tell me why they didn't. Because the gold don't come back to this thing without them three. And Anthony was there, and Anthony Davis, none of that happens unless them three is there. But because the NBA hasn't chosen to pour back into American stars, and they went so global, now they looking around and they like, wait a minute, the Olympics is finna be here in LA, and we ain't got a face from the NBA to put on that thing. You know why? Because Joel ain't it, Giannis ain't it, Jokic ain't it, Wemby ain't it.
They right? Playing for their
country. They trying to figure out who is it, and they don't even know what they like. Who is SGA? Is that Gilgis out? How you say his name? What's his name? Because they ain't trying to get to know none of these players.
He from France. I mean, from Canada, I believe.
That's what I'm saying.
He gonna be playing for his team.
That's what I'm saying. They looking around trying to figure out who to get. Nope, it ain't SGA. You got Ant-Man. And y'all keep on trying to prop up. Y'all keep on trying to pipe up. I know his name, Shai Gill, but he ain't. He. My point was he can't play for the U.S. either. He probably gonna be in Canada. Hey, protect the youth was good, but y'all keep trying to prop up Tyrese Halliburton and make us think that he's a star. We don't. We haven't believed him since the Olympics.
Yeah, that global game is different, and it's a lot of people catching up.
They praying for Ant, but he ain't ready yet because they not really praying for Ant. They're praying that Ant will be who they want him to be. They gonna have to let Ant be who he is. And they want Ant to shut up and be like he got a whole lot of respect for the ones that came before him. And when he out there like, if you and Jordan was playing, who gonna win? He like, me, I'm dunking on Jordan. I'm dunking on Jordan. They like, you can't say that. He like, why I can't? 2 times. I'm dunking on him. What else is he supposed to say? You said, what the Halliburton? Yeah, what the Halliburton? Yeah, come on. Come on. You got to let Ant be him. Let Ja be him. Yeah, now, y'all run around here trying to tell Ja Morant how he can celebrate. Don't shoot the gun. Don't do the gunshot. Like, come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. That's that control.
Yep.
That's that control. That's that trying to sun him. Why can't he celebrate however he want to?
That's a good one. They're trying to sun him like he's somebody boy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. They're like, we don't. Whoa, what is that? He's shooting a gun. What is that a symbol of? Every time the U.S. wants something, you know what they do? They get the guns. Tell me we don't. That's who we are. Every time we want something, we get the guns. It ain't. That's who we are. That's how this country got built, off the guns. Don't act like it's a problem now. That's a problem. Stop it. Y'all so silly. Y'all silly as hell. But he came up with one better for y'all.
The bomb.
Let these kids be who they is. The stuff y'all worried about is wild. Absolutely wild to me. Lil. I think for athletes, we got to start talking about agency, right? Opportunities aren't locked behind whether you the headline name. This league is making room for many stories, brands, and stars. And that's how you build something that lasts, right? With the approach that Unrivaled is taking. How does their focus on collective talent over star players challenge traditional models of sports marketing?
Hey, that had to be one of the smoothest moves. I mean, the bottom line is they understand that NIL is now a part of what's going to happen professionally. So, for them to go and capture, those stars like that with that NIL deal was just a stroke of genius. The WNBA does nothing, with these young college stars to start pulling their fan bases in, and you would think they would have made the link. But it was, Unrivaled seems like, okay, we got to teach y'all everything. Let's run with it, because you got these, people in the office. No, we want to stick to tradition. This is the way it's always been done. That's not innovative, nor is it creative. At some point, you got to look at these young, across all industries, even in politics. You got to let these young people, take over. You've lived your life. Let them regenerate this country in their image. But they so scared that it's gonna be diverse. I don't even think that's what they're scared of. They're sitting around here going, we don't know what they're gonna say. You know why? You ain't teach them nothing. What did you pour into this? What did you pour into this generation? See, everybody was like, oh, they got their phone, they got an attitude, they don't know. Now it's time for them to be in charge. And y'all like, ooh, we don't know what they gonna say. You need to get to know them. Spend some time with them. Get to know them. Spend some time with them. Understand what it is that they value. What they value is way different than I think than what I think people are assuming that they value. But that's okay. This country is headed for a real awakening. A real awakening. Because we got people in charge that are way out of touch with what's going on. People don't even know how much a gallon of milk costs, right? In charge, trying to make decisions about how much money is a good amount of money for a household to have, right? This country is on its way to a reckoning when they finally figure it out, because where the temperament and the climate of the country is headed, where people think that they can control, they're gonna find out that the people that they're trying to control, they not the same meek little
We shall overcome. Not that no more. They TTG, they train to go. They just waiting on go. They like, oh, it's time. Okay, we just wait. It's time. It's awakening. It's coming. We didn't teach the nothing at all but games and music. There are some that only got games and music, but there are some that are very intelligent. There are some that are that are ready to move. They just the way they engage and the way that they share is very different than what we're used to. And we get so caught up in our way or the highway that we misjudge people, and we don't take the opportunity to really hear people because they're not saying it the way that we would say it. And that's where we at with the youth. The youth are saying a whole lot of stuff, but we ain't hearing them because they ain't saying it in the language we used to. See, we come from a language where it was critical. Do this better, do that better. These kids is like, I don't want to hear that. Tell me about what I did good. Then I tell you about what I want to work on. Mm-hmm. They're different. That's not what they're interested in. Tell me about what I did well, and then we can get to what I can work on. But if you just come out with you didn't do that, man, they stop hearing you from you didn't. They can't hear you no more. You did the want. They can't hear you. But hey, that was dope, man. You did this. Now how can you make it better? Now we're engaging. We're how they grew up is totally different. I grew up at a time I didn't have to be scared about going to school. It was the safest place I knew. What not gonna happen at school? Now they at school and they got to figure out if it's an active shooter. What do you do? They putting pictures on t-shirts. They done been through a pandemic. They done seen an attack on U.S. soil. None of that stuff happened to me as a kid. So what? They've been in survival mode since 2001. So, like, we gotta take a step back and be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? What they dealing with ain't what I was dealing with. Mm-hmm. Their approach is totally different. Then I had a conversation with some kids about the pandemic, and I was like, what did you learn from it? These are my nephews. They was like, I learned I didn't need nobody. I learned that I didn't necessarily I shut down. I didn't necessarily want to be around people no more. Like we gotta get into that. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox with that. I would watch a league with team depth and competitive balance because it gives more appreciation towards team basketball and individuals who are great at their roles and working together. I think most of us want to see a team win. Mm-hmm. I think most of us like the story about a team coming together and winning than it is about just one superstar that did it by themselves. Because I think most of us can relate more to being a part of a winning team than being a fucking superstar. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's why I would watch it. But let's get into this last article. Before we ready to jump out of here. And this article was about Unrivaled Basketball League just hit $340 million valuation after closing the Series B funding round. Biggest headline, Serena Williams in the building. Already an investor in the Toronto Tempo, she doubled down with Unrivaled. Serena's invested in hoops. Expansion check, 8 teams, 48 players, plans to keep growing market reach and media visibility. $340 million valuation, that's not hype, y'all. That's investor confidence. That's proof that the league's business model is working. And the disruption in women's basketball is not only possible, it's profitable. For the player, it means higher salaries, better benefits, bigger platforms. Straight competition to the dub. Hey, Dubs out here catching strays. You hear me? Straight catching strays. But it's also opportunity. So the real T is this valuation sends a message to the entire sports world. Women's sports are no longer charity cases. So whoever that was in the chat talking about they don't make no money. They're investment vehicles, market movers, cultural engines with economic value that can't be ignored. High-profile backers, continued growth. Unrivaled is a legit player in U.S. sports landscape, and that's pressure. It's going to influence the WNBA because when athletes got options, leagues compete, and then the players win. So, Lil, what does Unrivaled's $340 million valuation say about investor confidence in women's sports?
You know what, that kind of valuation, that signals a strong investor confidence in the growth potential and profitability of women's sport. And see, investors are recognizing that women's professional leagues can generate significant returns, particularly when they're implemented from innovative models. They expand the fan engagement and they provide high quality athlete experiences. So it don't just reflect the financial opportunity. Shoot, it's a belief in the culture and social impact of investing in women's sports. And we're gonna do a series of shows concerning just that thing. It's hot right now. They just had a big conference in Chicago last year, and they had, you talking about Goldman Sachs and all these companies down here. What were they talking about? Investing in women's sports. So it's nobody running and giving you $250 million and it ain't profitable. Ain't nobody doing that, because that would be ridiculous. So it's just sending a message to other investors and sponsors that women's sports are viable and they're scalable. And so Unrivaled is setting a benchmark for other women leagues. And I'm even expecting it to eventually be a totally athletic owned league, coming in this that is owned with fans and sponsors. I'm looking at that because Lord knows, as a fan, I would love to be able to invest. These right now, only the big people are getting that opportunity. But boy, suppose we had a league where the fans could be investors. That would be something. Just like they got you out here gambling. They could have you out here buying stock in these teams too. Exactly. That would be something new. And I think the future is headed that way.
Absolutely. I agree. How might Unrival's expansion pressure the WNBA to innovate or adjust its business model, Lil?
Look, the WNBA, y'all need to get all hands on deck, because you're going to have to rethink your approach to player compensation, all-season opportunities, marketing, and your fan experience in order to remain competitive, or you'll be looking like the G League. So the WNBA, they need to innovate by enhancing these revenue-sharing models. You have to improve the player support. And the main thing I've been harping on is those working conditions, and then create partnerships and promotional strategies that better engage your audience, year round. So it's definitely a wake-up call. Don't think it's not. And don't think they're not coming in there 9 to 5 like, oh, we need to do something, because it demonstrates that other alternative models can in fact work. And so the WNBA may need to evolve, at its leadership position, meaning you need to get some of them old thinkers, out the door. And for the players and fans, this could result in improved conditioning, more opportunities, and dynamic league experience overall. So it's time for a passing of the torch. Even in this system of capitalism, it's time for more cooperative models. We shouldn't have people on the margins of society like that. This country is too wealthy, for that. You have to create a way everybody can be a participant, or you're gonna wind up having a civil war, or wind up in just a total mess where the people just burn the whole place down. And that's not necessary. It's enough for everyone's need. It's just not enough for everybody's greed. Exactly. So some of these people need to change their way of thinking, because I would hate to see this nation, fall apart, become like a third world country, because it's so unnecessary. It's just you got some really mentally ill people, at the top thinking that, they need to hoard everything. They got like a hoarder's disorder, because you do not, you have to spread the money around. And sports is just a mirror of society. If you do these innovative things in sports, like Seth was saying earlier, this could be a domino effect. That's why this CBA is so critical. It could be a domino effect to all other industries. You can't leave women on the back burner. They got to have an opportunity too. There's too many of them having to, take care of families and make ends meet. So you got to give them opportunities. And Unrivaled just came at the right time and it hit the right way. And let me thank you if you supported Unrivaled, because the fans made that happen, and they made it something that everybody could see that could work. So hopefully you all will continue to support these women as they move towards these kind of economic models.
I totally agree, because what's going on with the Connecticut Sun is totally unacceptable, and the pay is way too low. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This Connecticut Sun sale is definitely gonna set a precedent. Gotta have that TNT subscription to catch this unrivaled action. And the WNBA, man, catch up, Mustard. Catch up, Mustard. Unrivaled out here working. So, listen, we had a chance today to pour it all out. Congress is pressured on the dub right now. Unrival's bold $340 million play. New models giving athletes leverage and choice out here. Women's basketball is shifting fast. Players got options, they got platforms, they got power like never before. And the fans, we gotta our knowledge is power. We gotta leverage that too. The more you understand these moves, the louder your voice in the conversation, the stronger your role in the movement. So think about that. Queen K, hold up. Sound like money. Appreciate y'all supporting the pull up. Lil, what you got before we get out of here?
Look, we showing you the stakes, the opportunity, and the business side of women's basketball. Now it's time for awareness to turn into action. Use your voice, support the players, and engage with both leagues. There are, not just games; these are systems of equity and opportunity in motion. So every time you send out something on social media, positive, use hashtag respect her game, and join the movement.
Absolutely, y'all. And as the WNBA regular season winds down, let's keep in mind that some of these players playing right now, we may not see them play for a while, depending on how this labor fight plays out. So enjoy tonight's games. Because and it just I think sometimes we get so caught up in the games that we forget to just be thankful that they out there, right? And just be thankful that we got hoops right now, because a lockout can mean no hoops next summer. So with that, what I'm saying, enjoy the games tonight, man. Pull up, hang out with your favorite virtual cousins. We're gonna be around. I think we got football is on tonight. It's a lot of sports, but tonight, really hashtag respect our game. Enjoy what those ladies put on the floor, because we don't know when we'll see it again. We got the playoffs coming up, so we'll be able to enjoy that. But I don't know when we'll see Rakia play again. I don't know, when we'll see Cam on the floor, when we'll see Sanaya on the floor. So enjoy. June Brown and the Democratic Congressman can't recall his name, sent Kathy a letter. WNBA interfering with the sale of the Sun. Kathy getting heat left and right. Yeah, they told them they better handle that Sun sale correctly too. So it's eyes on it. And see, here's the thing. Other thing I'm gonna say to people: don't nobody put their eyes on something that don't make no money. Ain't nobody looking at nothing like that. Ain't nobody watching something that's broke. Okay, they watching it because it's real motion and it's real pressure out here and it's real money in women's hoops and women's sports overall. So next up, y'all, we're gonna close out the CBA series. We're gonna have a live breakdown of the numbers. We're gonna put the BRI revenue split right on the table, so y'all can see exactly what's at stake in this labor war. And we're not stopping there. We got a fan advocacy kit that's dropping with letters ready for y'all to send straight to the WNBA and the Board of Governors. And we're building a petition. So players to boycott if a fair deal isn't signed by October 31st. So y'all stay locked in with us. We are trying to do our part. I heard the governor of Illinois is watching the Sky organization and should be.
Yep.
And should be.
Exactly.
We are now starting to put up links to our sources on the community page after the show. So be on the lookout for that if you want to take a deep dive into some of the stuff that Lil was able to share today. We got the women's caucus in the fight. Next target, American Bar Association. Time to put the real legal weight behind the players. So, but I think the biggest hammer and the one that we could swing the hardest is the fans. So your boycott threat is the pressure point Your voice is the leverage. So y'all stay informed, and as always, man, pull up and sip this tea with us. Y'all stay tuned. Talk soon. That's Political Live. Let's talk sports. Man, we out.